class, and happy Sunday. I hope you've all had a great weekend. And we're going to jump into our weekly agenda for today, okay, for this week. So, hard to believe, but we are already rolling into the final weeks of November. Just about 5 weeks left until the winter break. And then when you come back in January, it's all final performance task and final exams. So, we're just moving right along here. And this week is a big week in the class in that we're going to be jumping back into our blog spaces and we're going to be reflecting on some of the learning that we've done over the last 2 weeks. A lot of the learning we've done over the last few weeks is really content curriculum related. Hopefully you have been keeping really good course notes based on the lessons, the articles, the TED Talks that you've watched, as well as the readings and the corresponding guided question sheets. We're going to be taking all of this and we're going to be applying it right to our blog. So we're going to jump right back into our blogs. You each received a blog mark for the first term, and you'll be receiving a blog mark again for everything that you do for the second term for your final report cards, okay? So this week you'll be adding in 2 additional blog posts. If there's any feedback that you received from midterm blogs, for example, maybe you were missing a blog entry or you wanted to just change your blog in any way, make it better, you're more than welcome to do that because your mark for this term will be reflective of that, okay? So with that being said, for your blog post this week, you're going to be focusing on motivation. Students really like these blog entries because they're so relatable and we can just all really connect to the material. So for the blog entry number 6, you have got to watch the following TED Talk video on the psychology of motivation. This is a great TED Talk, just really understanding why we are motivated. Some of us are actually born with a brain capacity that's just better able to motivate and self-regulate than others. So it's just kind of a cool video to watch. And then from that, you've got to go ahead and answer the following questions. So right here, all the questions are outlined. What about an assignment do you find interesting when it pertains to assignments? And then based on the TED Talk video, it asks you to answer and reflect on these questions. So be very specific to the TED Talk video. Make sure that you're making direct connections to the video in your blog entry so that I know that you've actually done that work. The second blog entry is going to be based on, again, motivation and personality. So you're going to read this lesson content on individual behavior, and you're actually going to go ahead and complete these 3 online quizzes. These are personality quizzes online. These are kind of cool. It tells you a lot about who you are, and it gives you an opportunity to reflect on probably already what you know about yourself, but maybe some things that you didn't know as well. From this, you're actually going to use the results from these quizzes in your reflection. And in the reflection, you've got to reflect on, in your blog entry, I should say, you've got to reflect on the results of your 3 tests. What do these results mean to you? And do you feel they accurately reflect you as an individual? Why or why not? Please elaborate on that. And then how do you feel that these results will benefit you in the future? And then also might hinder you in the future as it applies to the workplace. And then you can connect to it also in a general sense as to how you feel you're performing in school, okay? When you're done, I want you to post both of these blog entries to your blog and then republish your blog. Just make sure that you're always republishing your blog as soon as you've updated your blog so that I can see those updated versions. By now, you should have 7, well, once you've done this, you should have 7 blog entries, including the About Me section with the video reel introducing who you are, okay? So double check that as well. That's the main focus of our week this week. But then on Wednesday, you have one more reading to do on motivation. This is available to you in Dropbox and some guided questions. Again, the reading is there for content that you're going to need on future assignments, tests, and obviously the final exam. And these guided question sheets are helpful to you as you create more course notes and that you have that material for when you need it. Next week, you're going to be jumping into a project on motivation, and you're actually going to be interviewing somebody from your life, a role model who has a professional job, who is working in a professional industry, and you're going to be actually interviewing them. So it's a project a lot of students really, really enjoy. So that's another thing you might want to think about this week is who would you like to interview? I always suggest you stretch beyond your parents, although it's always interesting for some students to interview their parents because sometimes we actually no idea what they do in their professional lives. But another source of interview could also be your teachers or a mentor, perhaps like a dance instructor or a coach, an aunt and uncle that has a professional career that you're really interested in. So really think outside the box for this because I find the more you do, the more rewards you gain from the project. That's next week though, but it's just something to think about for this week. Again, What you've got for this week are the 2 blog entries based on all of the content that's been assigned to you, the quizzes, as well as the reading on motivation and the guided question sheets available in Dropbox. All of this is due on Monday at 8 a.m. as always. And don't forget, you've got that PD day on Friday, which gives you extra time. Okay? If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Send me an email. Have a great week, and I'll see you online.